India launched the Aadhaar card scheme to build the largest demographic and biometric database in history. To access basic social services, over 1 billion people were required to submit their fingerprints and iris scans to the state. This triggered an immediate legal challenge. Citizens argued that mandatory biometric collection for government access violates their right to privacy, a right they believed was inherent to their freedom. In the modern digital landscape, every aspect of life is trackable. Our movements, data, and intimate choices are constantly monitored by state and corporate entities. A loss for the citizens in this case would mean that 1.3 billion people would have zero constitutional protection against total state surveillance in the digital age. The government responded by pointing to 2 Supreme Court precedents from the 1950s and 60s, MP Sharma and Karak Singh, to argue that the right to privacy does not actually exist in India. Their legal argument was literal, because the written text of the Indian Constitution contains no specific mention of privacy, it cannot be considered a fundamental right. To resolve this mounting crisis, the Supreme Court assembled a historic 9-judge bench to review decades of Indian law and settle the question of privacy once and for all. These judges were forced to choose: remain tethered to the strict text of mid-century rulings, or recognize a constitutional shield necessary for life in the 21st century. To find an answer, the court looked back to 1890. History shows that technology has always been the primary catalyst for expanding privacy laws. American legal scholars Samuel Warren and Louis Brandeis were among the first to sound the alarm over a disruptive new invention: instantaneous photography. For the first time, cameras could follow people into their private domestic lives. This intrusion forced legal systems to formally recognize the right to be let alone. There is a direct line from the cameras of 1890 to the biometric scanners of today. Both technologies represent a state or commercial attempt to monitor the individual's private existence. As tools of surveillance become more pervasive, the law must adapt to protect the inviolable core of human personality from being reduced to a data point. The 9-judge bench began by dismantling the archaic Gopalan doctrine, which incorrectly treated different constitutional rights as isolated silos, unconnected to one another. Relying on the Maneka Gandhi case, which established that rights are interwoven, the judges argued that privacy cannot be separated from the composite whole of human liberty. The court then looked at global precedents, referencing U.S. rulings like Griswold and Roe v. Wade, to demonstrate that modern democracies recognize a private realm that the state cannot enter. They also aligned their decision with international standards, specifically the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Across cultures and centuries, privacy has been recognized as a primordial right that is essential to human dignity. The judges concluded that privacy belongs to the category of natural primordial rights. It is an inseparable part of human existence that precedes any specific law or government regulation. At the center of this ruling is dignity. Dignity is what allows us to make the most intimate choices of our lives, from who we love, to what we eat, to the personal data we generate. The court's ruling was unanimous. Privacy is an intrinsic, inalienable part of Article 21, the right to life and personal liberty. While the case began with the status of the Aadhaar database, the final judgment shifted the power dynamic between 1.3 billion Indian citizens and the state. Any future law that attempts to infringe on privacy must now pass a 3-pronged test. It must be backed by a valid law, serve a compelling necessity, and be proportional to its goal. This was the final victory for the original petitioners, like the elderly Justice Puttaswamy, who spent years fighting the state's biometric mandates. The judgment proves that the Constitution is a living document. By recognizing privacy as a fundamental right, the court has given succeeding generations a vital shield to protect their humanity in an unpredictable digital world.